Greetings students, welcome to this video lecture series on computer applications, lecture number 6, chapter number 3, Introduction to HTML, part 3. Previous lecture we saw all the attributes of body tag, and it was a lengthy lecture because body had a lot of attributes. Today we will see the font and font attributes, font tag, base font, and the remaining of the tags, including style tags and HTML list. Font tags and its attributes. So you must have come across the word font tag. So this tag specifies the font face. So font face basically means the family of the font. You must be aware of certain families to which a type of font belongs, like the Times New Roman, Arial, or Verdana. Font size is the how big the font will appear, and font color is the color in which the font will appear. Font tag does not have any functionality of their own, but rather the attributes that provide the tag with the functionality. So first attribute is the size of the tag. So size, as we mentioned earlier, size represents specifies the size of the font, and the range values from 1 to 7, where 1 is the smallest font and 7 is the biggest font over here. So syntax is pretty simple, and you mentioned size equals the value over here to change it to the desired value. So the face of the font is yet another attribute that we would like to change in our HTML page. So the face basically specifies the name of font to be used, the name of the family of the font to be used, or the typeface of the text. So the syntax is font face equals the font family. So some of the common families are mentioned in the next line. The common font family names are Verdana, so an Arial, sans serif, but the most common one that is used in the formal documentation is the Times New Roman. And whenever we are given any assignment, or wherever I will give you an assignment to make a project file, so by default in the formal documentation, the Times New Roman is the choice of family font family to be used throughout the documentation. Next is the color of font. So this attribute specifies the color of font being used. Very simple. Syntax is usually similar for most of the cases. Since this is about the attributes of font, so this is opening tag of font. Then we mention color equals to the color name. You can simply type here red, green, blue, or you can mention the hex code, or the red, green, blue number, RGB number. You can mention it, it will all mean the same thing. You see this bar over here means or. So either color name or hex code or RGB number, only one of these you have to specify. Alright students, in this tutorial we will see the usage of the three attributes of the font, that is the face and color and size of the font. So you see this is the right now the font that we are using. If we check it in the font option, we are right now using the Times New Roman. So these are all the font families. You are able to see all the font families. It has given us a lot of choice. If we want to say write in some freestyle script, so that way it will become that, as well as we have some font style in terms of bold, regular, italics, and then this is the size. All three you are able to see in one particular formatting of the Word document. So this is what we understand over here. Then let us just go with this freestyle script, and press OK. So it is a kind of typical to understand, but let us just broaden this. So if you are able to see face, color and size. So we will now code in this particular format. Please note that this type of formatting is available in the offline document. Now we want our web page to include these kind of formatting. So we will use the uh, font attributes in the program. So we start with like any other program, HTML. Let us just increase the size HTML and then corresponding HTML tag. Right, I hope you are able to understand. Right, that's big enough. Forward slash. Right. Now in the body part, now here we need to specify the font face. So we'll type face equals to, right now the face we are using in the formatting is the freestyle script. If we want to say use the impact script, or rather Kristen ITC, or maybe let's just use impact because its spelling is simple. So we will use here impact. And we can club two or more attributes together, we can join them together. Here itself, if we mention the color of the font equals to, say, red, and if you want to mention the size say 10. Correct. So we write here, this text will appear impact face and color red and size 10. Now we just need to save this as the HTML document. Save it as color font attributes. Font attributes dot HTML. Save. Right. So we see this font attribute has appeared. Now click open on it. So you see this is the impact. This particular text is written. This text will appear in impact face, font color red, and size 10. So this is the size 10. Right now we are using which size? We are using 11 size. And if we just make it 10 and put it in impact, it should appear similarly. Let's just do it. So see, this is the impact style or the impact face. If we want to keep it as impact face, let's just keep it as Times New Roman, whichever is easier to read. So here, if we mention it as the Times New Roman, Times New Roman, please ensure the spelling of the family Times New Roman is correct. So now if we save this, we close this file, we save this again, Control plus S, we open this again. Now the font will appear in the Times New Roman. So this is the Times New Roman. So you can play with the number of the font face families. You can see the other font face families you want from here. Say for example, comic, comic sans, French script, French script empty. So you can write here French script empty, French script empty. Save it, close this, open this again, and it should appear in French script empty. So this is the French script. So I hope that is clear. Thank you.
Alright students, so next comes the base font tag and the attributes. So base font tag will have the same attributes as the font tag, that is face, color and size. So in this case we are able to see that this tag specifies a default font color, size or family for the whole of the text that follows it. One thing to note that this is we are doing only for the sake of covering the syllabus, as the base font is no more supported by any of the browsers, and especially HTML version 5 does not support base font anymore. So for sake of covering the syllabus, base font was the tag that specifies the default font color, size or family for whole of the text that follows it. And this ending tag in base font was optional. If you try to code it any program using base font, you will not be able to see the result as it is no more supported. But just for the sake of covering the syllabus, the syntax of base font was just like the previous font tag, that you mentioned base font and color, then color equals double quotes color name or hex code or RGB code, then font equals font family name, double quotes, and then size equals value. So these three were the face, color, and size attributes. So you could use that. So the difference between font attribute and the base font attribute is that first difference is the ending tag is there in the font, but ending tag is optional in base font. And the font, whatever you write between opening tag of font and closing tag of the font will take the effect of the attribute. But here it affects all the text that follows the base font and its attribute. Center tag, on the other hand, the tag is used to centralize a segment of text that is to be displayed on the browser's window. So the center tag was used. Whatever you write between the opening tag of center and the closing tag of center will appear in the center of the web page. So it was used to centralize a segment of text that is to be displayed on the browser. This is the syntax.
Next comes the comment section or the comment tags. So we have already used the and here we will see that what the comments are about. So this comment syntax is like this. You specify the angular bracket and then you write an exclamation mark, then write whatever you want to write and then close it with the closing angular tag. Insert a comment in the source code of the web page. So basically comments are not read by the web browser. So this particular way of syntax will tell the browser that we are not supposed to display the comments in the web page. So comments are not displayed in the web page. Then why are we using the comments is a question. If it is not to be displayed in the web page, then why we use comments? So the simple explanation for this is that we have seen in previous example a coding can be a very big coding. In the sense we saw previous codes of say 10 15 lines, but there can be a typical very big web page. So it can consist of hundreds of coding lines, and we someone would like to know that if someone would like to know what this particular piece of code block is about, then we can specify the comments and we can mention oh this particular line number. We can mention it in the comment, and then we can mention that this particular line specifies that next three lines will make the text appear in bigger size and next five lines will make the text appear in the italicized font or maybe Times New Roman. So this is the usage of comment tags. It is for the programmer, not for the viewer of the web page. So programmer can know that what I have done in this code. He can simply enter the comments. We will see the usage of comments in the next example. Then comes all the text inserted in the tag from here till here will be ignored by the browser. It will not be shown in the web page. Then is the heading tags and the attributes. So in HTML, heading tags are used to display the text as heading. So we have from H1 till H6. So defines the type of headings. H1 is the biggest heading and H6 is the smallest heading. And we can then there are attributes. We can align the heading to left, right, or justify the heading. Syntax is simple. HN stands where N is from 1 till 6. So it can be H2, H3, H4, H5 and so on till H6. So HN, and then we write align, then we write center, left, right, or justify. This bar is for or justify, and then we close it with the HN tag.
So students, in this tutorial we will see the usage of comments. So comments is, as I mentioned earlier, it's basically something that will not be read by the web browser. So this is the first comment. You can write this even before the HTML tag. We begin our program like any other program. Basically, by using comments, I can tell you what is really happening in this video without even saying a word. So just try to understand, and you will realize what is the usage of comment in a program. And this concept is not just limited to HTML, it is also there in Python and most of the programming languages. Just look at this comment over here. In the comment section, please mention whether this comment will be read by the HTML or will the HTML treat this whole as a title. So here we will align different headings in different alignment, and we will see how it goes. Similarly, we can just write such headings 1 till 6. Sorry, this is H1, this will be H2, H3, Now save the document as HTML. There is one more thing we have to do. Change the alignment center. So here is our program. We will now run it. Alright, so we can see different headings and different alignments. So this was our purpose. So we see heading 1 is by default the largest and heading 6 is the smallest. And the comments are not appearing everywhere wherever we have mentioned. Like in this tutorial, this is one comment. None of this is appearing. However, I want you to see what is happening in the title tab title over here. So this comment has appeared over here. So this is title is being read by the HTML browser as a title. If you start from here, so the browser reads the document like this. So it sees HTML. Okay, so the browser understands we are now dealing with HTML document. Then it sees the exclamation mark inside the angular bracket and this is ignored as a comment. Then it sees the header and then it sees the title. Now here when it sees the title, so it understands this is the beginning. Since it is the title tag, so it reads HEADINGS, then angular bracket, then this exclamation mark, this is title, all through here, and then it understands, takes this whole as a heading, and then it reaches the end tag for the title. That is why here the comment is being treated as a title over here. So that was all, students. So that is all, students. We will see you in the next lecture. Till then, thank you very much for staying tuned in, and Jai Hind.